everyone. I would like to read you a story today, and I have to tell you, people who write books and draw pictures, they use their imaginations as to what Santa and Mrs. Claus look like and what they do. And the one I'm going to read you today is What Does Mrs. Claus Do? By Kate Wharton. Everyone knows that on Christmas Eve night, Santa takes off on his magical flight. But what about Mrs. Claus? Not in the sleigh. What does she do when her Santa's away? Maybe she stays home, cleaning the mess, reading a story, and playing some chess, filling the stockings and knitting some socks. Maybe she sits by the fire and rocks. Or maybe not. That's not what she does, not at all. Perhaps Mrs. Claus hosts the Jingle Bell Ball. The neighbors all come for the black tie affair. The off-duty reindeer and elves are all there. She welcomes her guests. I'm glad you're all here. Tonight we are honoring veteran deer. The imported penguins skate by with their trays, ice sculptures, milk fountains, cookie buffets. The Nutcracker band begins rap-a-tap-tapping. They toss around tinsel and ribbon and wrapping. Now, just wait a minute. Of course she has fun, but Christmas is work, and there's more to be done. Perhaps Mrs. Claus runs and advises the whole operation of Claus Enterprises. She meets with the elves and she gives her projections for upcoming toys and new safety inspections. She processes all the consumer requests. Perfect! Now show me the factory tests. Did you see how big the factory looks for Santa? She develops new products with elf engineers. Broccoli candy canes, self-cleaning deer, super-sized stockings and buccaneer bears, paddleball rockets and rabbity chairs. After all, Santa's job gives him so much to do. It's best to leave the details to, well, you know who. Or maybe when Santa is just out of range, she steals away for a very quick change. On turbocharged reindeer with elves all in black, Mrs. Santa Claus shadows him, watching his back. She catches the toys that fall from the sleigh. She keeps all the dogs and children away, extinguishes fires and switches the tags, crumbles the cookies, and straightens the swags. When Santa comes home and hangs up his pack, Mrs. Claus just secretly beaten him back. Are you thinking she can't do that all in one night? There's not enough time. And perhaps you are right. But then, if the stories of Santa are true, why couldn't Mrs. Claus do it all too? Whale rider, sushi chef, snowball chopper, heli ski bungee jump mountaintop hopper, Iditarite musher, movie director, gingerbread architect, snowball inspector, minister, quarterback, pediatrician, comic book artist and master magician, toy archaeologist, mystery novelist, nature photographer, polo geographer, meteorologist, reindeer biologist, hula instructor, and music conductor, acrobat, diplomat, fashion designer, spelunker, hoop dunker, candy cane miner, offering counseling help for the fabled, training the reindeer to serve the disabled. She pilots a jetpack or a hot air balloon, works planting Christmas tree farms on the moon. What in the world then does Mrs. Claus do? There's one thing for sure that we know to be true. Whatever she does when her Santa's away, she's happy to see him return in his sleigh. She tells him, I love you and all that you do, and I love that I get to spend Christmas with you. The end. I hope you like this story. And you know what? You can borrow it from your library and read it at home with your parents or the grown-ups in your house.
Thank you, Mrs. Claus.
Oh, you're so welcome. Did you know? I know I let the cat out of the bag. I don't think you knew that I might be following you at night.
I know that on Christmas Eve, I load all of your presents into my sleigh. And I have one elf in the sleigh to help me as I take off on my trip around the world. But we get everything together, load it up, and then away we go on our trip around the world to deliver all of your presents. Well, while I'm gone, Mrs. Claus will gather all of the elves together at the North Pole at our house, and she'll bake cookies and make hot cocoa, and then Mrs. Claus will reach up on the shelf over the fireplace and take down this very same book.
Oh, I love hearing you read it instead of me, Santa.
This is the book that Mrs. Claus reads to the elves every Christmas Eve while I'm out delivering all of your presents. I'd like to read it to you tonight. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas, that's me, soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, threw up the shutter and tore open the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below. And what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came. He whistled and shouted and called them by name. On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the wall, to the top of the porch, thou dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, rise to the sky. So up to the housetop his coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each tiny hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his sack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples so merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. his droll little mouth drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. Oh, he had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head, and I soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying a finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. But I heard him exclaim, as he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Oh, thank you so much, Santa. I enjoyed hearing you read that. It is just wonderful.
That was so much fun. Now, I know that all of you love story time too, and I'm sure that Mom and Dad or Grandma and Grandpa can help you to read stories, and maybe you can read some to them as well. Now remember, Mrs. Claus and I are always watching, so be good and help out around the house as much as you can, but remember, always share your toys. Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas,
everyone!
everyone!
Merry, Merry Christmas!